She needs it because we need the attendance for the
Gotcha.
public hearing.
Okay, all right, sorry.
Mr. Arcuri?
I'm here.
Ms. Shanafelt will not be here. Dr. Proska will not be here tonight. Mr. Steigel?
Here.
Mr. Kozer?
Here.
Mr. Lewis?
Here.
Mr. Rouse is going to be absent.
Okay, it's all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before we proceed with our regular agenda, we do have a public hearing this evening concerning the transfer of the liquor license to 3836 Washington Road in McMurray. Under Pennsylvania state law, when a business desires to transfer a liquor license from one municipality to another, a public hearing is required, as well as a resolution of council approving the transfer. So tonight's public hearing is regarding the transfer of the liquor, as I said, to 3836 Washington Road. This parcel is bordered by Med Express and Old Oak Road. It's the site of a proposed cafe, as noted on the map on the screen. This public hearing was advertised in the Observer Reporter on March 31st, 2025, and on April 7th, 2025. Notice of the public hearing was also posted on the Township website on April 1st, 2025. Notices were sent to all property owners within 600 feet of the parcel. And a resolution approving the transfer is on tonight's council agenda, and council may, if it chooses, can act upon the resolution tonight. Mr. Lauer.
Yes, I think what I'd like to do is to have the applicant make a presentation with regard to the transfer.
Is it sworn or unsworn?
It should be sworn at the public hearing.
Raise your right hand.
Just do it and ask.
Yeah, you can ask anyone who wants to provide testimony to stand and just raise your right hand.
If you plan on saying a word tonight,
At this hearing.
please be sworn. Thank you. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this cause and on the hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Holly Guna. I'm here from Caputo Law Office on behalf of the applicant, 3836 Liquor LLC. As Mr. Steigel said, we're here tonight to propose the transfer of a liquor license from the municipality of Charleroi, PA. The license was previously owned and used by 4 Points Barbecue and Brewing in Charleroi. The liquor code, as he indicated, does require us to come before you first before we can file a transfer with them. There is no connection between the seller of this liquor license and the applicant in this case. The company is a privately owned Pennsylvania LLC, and the sole member, Angelo Courtier, is here tonight also. If there's any questions at some point that I can't answer about the business, I'm sure he will be happy to answer them. The property is also owned by an affiliate of this company, and it's 3836 Washington Road, LLC. So a little bit about the business. There's going to be two components to this. There's going to be a wine bar called Jello's Wine and Cigar Bar, and a bakery called Cafe Florentina. The bakery is going to feature homemade baked goods. In fact, Angelo's daughter is studying in Italy right now, taking pastry classes and interning under a Florence bakery. So she's hoping to bring some of that Italian cafe vibe here to Peters Township. They're going to offer different coffees along with pastries and breakfast sandwiches. The other side, the wine bar, is going to offer small plates such as charcuterie boards, flatbreads, appetizers, and a large selection of wines from Italy and other parts of the world. I really think this is a unique concept for our area. I think it's really going to be a nice thing for residents of Peters Township, including myself as a Peters Township resident. The hours of operation for the bakery side are going to be 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. And as far as the wine bar, they're looking to do 11:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. for now, potentially a little bit later on the weekends, depending on business. There is no outdoor seating at this location. And just so council's aware, before we can file with the LCB, we do require the resolution, and then there's a process that they have to go through with the LCB. This typically takes anywhere from 60 to 90 days. They will be required to have a full-time manager that is approved by the LCB, and anyone there that will be serving or dealing with alcohol will have to do what's called responsible alcohol management training. So any of their employees will have to go through that. I am happy to answer any questions that anyone would have as far as the license, the transfer process, the business, and I'm sure if I can't, Angela would be happy to. I do think it's important to note that we're here tonight just for the liquor license portion of this development. I know the applicant is required to come before the township, whether it be for zoning, parking, any other approvals that they will need. They will still have to do that before they can move forward. This hearing is solely related to the transfer of the liquor license, so.
Which I think you've explained in great detail, so I have no questions.
Okay, well, great, thank you.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
I think you may have misspoke. I think you referred to the LLC as the 3836 Washington Road.
That's the entity that owns that's going to own the property there.
Oh, okay.
So
But you're
it's an
not transferring
affiliate.
that to that entity, or?
No, it's just,
Okay.
it's being transferred to the 3836 Liquor LLC.
I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Lewis, do you have anything?
No, that's fine.
Anything from staff, any questions?
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you so much.
I move that we close the public hearing unless we're going to hear people from the audience.
Before we do that, if I could have your name again, please.
Sure, it's Holly Guna, G-U-N-A.
Thank you.
I'll second Mr. Eric Curry's motion.
Okay, the motion and a second to close the public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, meeting is closed. That'll be it for you. Thanks. All right, we'll move into the regular portion of the agenda. Next item will be approval of minutes from the March 24th, 2025 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any additions or corrections? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's 4-0. Next up, special reports. I'm not seeing any on the agenda, so we'll move into audience comments. This will be an opportunity for a member of the audience to address council on a non-agenda item for up to 5 minutes. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to address council at this time? Okay, seeing none, we will move into, looks like there's no unfinished business. We'll go to new business. The first will be a resolution approving the transfer of a liquor license to 3836 Liquor LLC for use at 3836 Washington Road in McMurray.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution number 04-01-25, transferring the liquor license.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it carries 4-0. Next item will be resolution amending the Peters Township Act 537 sewage facility plan to provide for access sewage services for the Woodbriar Estate Plan of lots.
So council's approved the final plan for the Woodbriar plan of lots. What all this resolution does is to amend our sewage facility plan for the purposes of providing them access to sewers.
All right, I'll make a motion that we approve or adopt resolution number 04-02-25, amending the Peters Township Act 537 sewage facility plan to provide access to sewage services for the Woodbriar Estates Plan of lots.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0 on that one. Next item will be a resolution authorizing the manager to execute an agreement with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation to provide the Peters Township Police Department with access to Pennsylvania crash information tool.
All right, I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution number 04-03-25, authorizing the Peters Township manager to execute an agreement permitting the Peters Township Police Department to access the Pennsylvania crash information tool.
Second.
I have a question. What's ballpark what the costs are to find all that software? Oh, really? Zero?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And it's just giving them the this data
They
to
can
help
log
them.
into to that site and look at the data.
So more targeted enforcement areas, things like
Oh,
that.
that's good.
Anything else? Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's 4-0. Next one will be the authorization to open an account with Univest Financial Corporation.
So when possible, the township invests its idle funds in certificates of deposits. And what you should know is that all deposits in excess of those protected by the FDIC are guaranteed under provisions of Act 72. Ms. Aiken has gone out and shopped for CD rates, and it's her recommendation and my recommendation that we open an account with Univest Financial Corporation for the investment of funds being held for post-retirement benefits, as well as the money that's being held in the equitable share accounts.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's 4-0. Next item will be the award of a contract under Pennsylvania Co-Stars for the purchase of a tractor and mower deck. Looks like they came in under budget.
And this is what we discussed last fall, right, Mr. Lauer?
Yes.
That the current apparatus we have doesn't properly reach
It's
over.
not only that, it's old at this point, and the tractor needs to be replaced.
All right. I'll make
So
a
you're making a motion for two different items, two separate contracts.
All right. First, I'll make a motion that we approve the award of a contract to Stevenson Equipment, Inc. under the Co-Stars program for the purchase of a Mastery Ferguson tractor in the amount of $97,600.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for that. Any other discussion on it? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's 4-0.
And I'll make a motion that we approve the award of a contract to the Tiger Corporation under the Co-Stars program for the purchase of a Tiger BB-22 boom mower in the amount of $88,991.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I'll just note that we budgeted $220,000 for both, and came in the bids at $186,591. So well under budget there. Any other discussion on that? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's 4-0. Item F, award of a contract under Co-Stars for the purchase and installation of playground equipment for the Elm Grove Park.
Is that what it's going to look like?
That's what it's going to look like, but in addition, there will be swings and a merry-go-round.
So that's the actual color of it then, we have there. Do we have any idea when this is going to go in?
Hopefully by the end of June. So we're shooting for the beginning of June to get it installed.
All right, I'll make a motion that we award a contract to Play and Park Structures under the Co-Star program in the amount of $272,847.18 for the acquisition and installation of a playground in Elm Grove Park.
Second.
And a second, that was also under the budgeted number. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0 on that
I
one.
would like to point out, I think that the original price of this at $440,000 is outrageous.
What?
Right? That's what it says in there in the packet. That with the discount, it came down to $262.
Oh, yes. And the reason why it's discounted the way it is because how we utilize Co-Stars. We went out and it's actually bid competitively through other vendors, and that's why that discount is as big as it is.
At $400,000, I don't think we'd be having this conversation.
No, I don't think so either. I'm just saying.
I would agree
That's
with
a
you.
lot of money for a place that, but maybe not. I don't know.
Okay. We voted on that, right? Okay. Next item will be a change order number 5 to the contract with Raffle Construction for the Peterswood Park Ballfield number 1 and number 2 improvements.
Yeah, this change order comes about by virtue of the fact that we're putting the synthetic turf on field number 1. The reason why it's needed, there's a concrete curb to which the synthetic turf was attached to that would not have been there. And so you would not have had to change the direction of the fencing. So that's why this comes into play. This is what, as of today, this is what field number 1, the large field, looks like. The infield's all in. The only things that need to be left are the putting in the sod beyond the synthetic turf. The backstop netting needs to be in place. And then down the third base line where they came in needs to be restored. This is a shot of field 2. Although we couldn't do the ribbon cutting on Saturday because of the weather, the field's in use now. And so both these projects are moving along.
Thank you.
All right, I'll make a motion that we approve change order number 5 to the contract with Raffle Construction, Inc. for the Peterswood Park Fields 1 and 2 improvements in the amount of $4,972.74.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's 4-0. Final item under new business will be an award of a contract for the 2025 Peters Township Road Improvement Project.
So the low bidder is Beely & Beely. They are the contractor that has provided paving for us for the last few years. We're very pleased that they're the low bidder. I guess the other thing that I would note is that this number is substantially below where we thought it would be. There's a new player in town, and as a result, I think these things were bid extremely tight. So that's the reason why we're recommending that we award alternate A, B, and C for $1,824,527.
I'm assuming that leaves considerable buffer for the rejuvenator, then you can cover all that.
Plenty of money to do that project.
All right, so I will move to award a contract in the amount of $1,824,527. I'm not going to put 25 cents in there. To Mealy & Millie for the Peters Township Road Improvement Program.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on that. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 4-0 on that. Payroll and bills, Mr. Coase.
Mr. Chairman, I've reviewed the payroll and bills, find them to be in order. I move they be approved as submitted.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second to pay the bills and the payroll. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0 there. Let's see, any correspondence? Minutes from the board meetings and authorities. Anything you guys would like to discuss? Okay. Move into miscellaneous. Mr. Lauer.
In your docket is the zoning hearing board report. There is one variance application that's under consideration. What the homeowners attempting to get relief on is the amount of coverage on the property. As the property sits right now, it's already in excess of 15%. I think it's at 15.2 or 15.3. What they want to do is in this area that's in hatched, they want to enclose that area, which would put them over 18% coverage for the property. So the question is, does council want to take a position with regard to this in front of the zoning hearing board?
What's the hardship?
There isn't one.
I mean, legitimately, if they're moving in a disabled parent or something like that and they need more
No, I
space.
think when I read the application, I think they're trying to create a structure that complements the pool in the back. So,
All right, well, I think we should oppose it then. If there's no legitimate hardship, we should oppose it.
That's tomorrow night, Paul?
Yeah. Isn't this the one where they want to put something over the pool or something?
No, that was a different one.
That's a different one.
They withdrew that one.
I'm trying to see what this one is.
So do you need a motion?
yes.
I'll make a motion that we oppose the variance application.
Yeah, based on the absence of any hardship that's
Correct.
being declared. That's a second.
Oh, that's the property right there?
Yes.
What street is this on? Which one is this?
King Richard.
King Richard.
Oh, okay. Okay. Found it.
There's like the shade there now.
So you said it's based entirely on coverage.
That's why they need a variance.
Okay. All right, did you second?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 4-0 to oppose that.
And just an FYI on the zoning board, if you may recall, the billboard issue was continued. I think initially going to go tomorrow, and I just asked Mark, it's continued again until May, so we haven't heard that yet.
It's the second billboard up by,
The ones that are close proximity up here on 19.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Is the property owned by the same owner on that?
I do
Or
not
the other-
believe so. No, I don't
Okay.
believe so.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's a
Yeah.
billboard there. It's not the same as the applicant.
I don't believe it.
I do not believe that to be the
Okay.
case.
Thank you.
All right, do you want to discuss the cell towers at this point?
Well, yeah, I do. We don't, has the official application come in for this on Druid?
It's still incomplete.
Okay, so we don't have
Waiting
a
on a narrative.
we don't have an official application. But there will be an application, and as we discussed, what that application involves is putting in a second pole on the right-hand side, just like it is on the left-hand side there, and running all the cables up through that. You're not going to have a lot of discretion as to whether or not to approve this. There's a new lease on the property by the property owner. But the reason why I'm bringing it to you is that the policy we adopted with regard to these requires that we provide notification to the residents, and we intend to do that. But the manner in which public input can occur is one of two ways. One, allow the residents to contact us right in with and express concerns. The other way to do that, in addition, is if council wants, is to have a public meeting with regard to this. And the only reason I bring it up is that I am not fond of bringing people in when they really have no authority, or the council has no authority based upon their input to make changes to this, but that's up to you.
Well, it's kind of like we just had a public hearing to transfer a liquor license,
Yep.
right, which is perfunctory because we have no basis to oppose
Right.
it. You're
So
going to fill the room here with people who may legitimately be opposed to an application, and which they have every right to be opposed to, and they have every right to speak their minds, but at the end of the night, they're all going to leave frustrated because our hands are tied anyway.
And is there any,
And so, so the question before council is, it's discretionary under our policy as to whether or not you hold that public meeting. Do you want to hold that public meeting, or do you want to have people contact the staff with comments?
Do we provide notification out so far from?
We will provide if we're sending out the notices for written input, it'll be 300 feet from the edge of the property. If we're having a public meeting, we'll do as we do for all public meetings and reach out 600 feet around the property.
and I guess my question, Paul, was, and I remember this going in, was the idea behind it the opportunity for the applicant to come forward? Because
The applicant gets to be invited, but
if they don't come, the meeting's hardly, worthwhile.
Right, because they're not obligated to come, because they can just take the position,
Right.
you guys don't have any authority anyway, why are we going to drive down
Yeah,
here
I think the
from wherever?
most worthwhile exchange is when we did have the applicants come. If you remember, the people got to at least get the back and forth, hear their concern, take them into consideration, but just
And that-
coming to you, I'm not sure that works.
Right, I mean, and that's my concern. You're going to schedule a public hearing or 30 people from the neighborhood are going to show up, and then the applicant's not going to send anybody.
yeah. Well, and the other thing is, I'm going to explain to them that you don't have a lot of authority in this area because it's considered co-location, and as long as it meets that criteria and there's a viable lease, council's not going to have any authority to have them do anything differently. So,
But one thing, whenever they do get up there on Druid Drive, we need to make sure, the last time the mess they made up there, how they had the vehicles parked there every night and everything else, we need to make sure they don't do that again.
there'll be disruption up there.
No, I know.
You're not going to
Remember
put
last
that
time-
pole up without.
Remember we had an issue last time because they were leaving their trucks there overnight?
Yeah, well, they left their
blocking
trucks
traffic.
in places where it made it difficult. And there's no
Right at the
reason
top
for
of the
that.
hill
Yeah.
where you come out of the top, yeah.
Would they be receptive to like a pre-construction meeting, Paul, so that
Oh,
staff
I
can tell them?
think, yeah, I think we can do that. That's not a problem.
Paul, who is in charge of assuring that structurally what they're going to assemble up there is adequate?
My recollection of this is that they need to get a permit, and it needs to be sealed by an engineer.
And that is within the control of this township.
Mhm.
And that's got to be a must. I mean, it's unsightly, I guess, at best, and it's certainly a modified structure from how it was originally designed.
I mean,
But I still get back to the question I asked. Do you want to invite people to come to a
A
council
meeting that nobody's going to come.
I'd put out the letter, see what kind of response comes back. If there's legitimate concerns that, I don't know what they would be. That,
Okay.
There is something that we can address with the applicant, and we can
Okay.
schedule something at that point.
Well, let's do that. That's good. The other thing that I wanted to let you know is we haven't got an application for these yet, but we got a request for a one call for each of these locations. And what this is in relation to are small cell towers. So the small towers like you see on East McMurray Road.
Like the one in front of the middle school, currently.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what you're looking at right now. But like I said, we don't have an application, we just have a one call.
That should help your cell
The
service.
the other thing is, I had a chance to talk to the school district. The school board would be interested in having a tower placed at,
PV.
near PV behind the fields. I think their tact would be, rather than to go with a single carrier, to bid that out and have a tower company come in, and that way ensure that you get all three carriers on that tower.
That'd be wonderful.
So one of the things that Mark's going to be doing in all of his free time is we're going to be drafting up a change to the zoning ordinance that would permit that on certain properties. So the next thing I have is there's a piece of open space on Sherborne that was to be transferred to the HOA. Not sure that ever happened, and it went up for a sheriff's sale and was purchased. The individual who's purchased the property has contacted the neighbors on the street, suggesting that it would be an ideal location for another home. It is open space. It has a conservation easement that goes across its entire parcel. After having talked to the person who bought it, it was obvious that he intends to continue to pursue that. I asked Mr. Smith to draft up a letter explaining to him that that's not possible, so that in fact he would not represent that to anybody he's selling it to.
It says it on the recorded plan, right?
Yeah.
So anyone who buys it subject to that, so.
We told to tell all potential buyers that they can't use the property.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, somebody buys it and they come in for a permit and we reject it, they can go back after him then.
Yeah, I think at least that letter to me puts them under the seller disclosure rule.
Right.
Yeah. I did offer to purchase it back off of him for the $600 he spent on it. So. The last thing that, this is the current state of the aqua park. The building is under roof now. That outline in white is the concrete area for the large splash pad, and then down below it, there's another outline in white where the splash pad for the smaller children is located. They're still pretty much on schedule, so we're looking at sometime in June. One of the things I do want to mention to you is there are a number of change orders related to this project. They're going to be on next agenda. We've been trying to work with them to negotiate what those prices ought to be and what their obligation was in terms of the contract. And then finally, next Monday at 7 p.m., the people who are doing the EMS study are going to be here, and they would like to
time change.
speak to the council.
In the second one is now at 7:30.
Yes, Dr. Perosco had indicated he cannot be here at 7 o'clock.
It's tough.
Want to give Mr. Brooks another shout out for the Easter egg hunt on Saturday. They moved it to Rolling Hills, which allowed all the kids to go at the same time, and 2 or 3 years too late for my benefit. I remember there was nothing worse than having one kid go at 1 o'clock and the other kid having to stand there and watch and wait until 2 o'clock till she got to go. Now they all get to go at the same time. It's so much better. So great job to Mr. Brooks for figuring that one out.
Okay. Anything for the next agenda? No? Okay. Adjourn. We have an executive session now?
Just very briefly.
Okay.